So next, I want to talk about once you get into WordPress and you log in, you're on your WP admin page, now what? You are plopped onto the dashboard. What is all this? So I'm just going to walk you through the dashboard from top to bottom. I'm going to walk you through my dashboard specifically and just show you what it looks like, what sort of plugins I use for my own website, and what tools you can incorporate into your own website to kind of set yourself up for success with any theme you choose. So first of all, to talk about what you're seeing here, this is the back end of your site. When I say theme, what a theme is how your site appears to anyone that comes to visit. So the theme that I created, because that's specifically what I do, you don't need to create your own theme. You can just buy someone else's or even use a free theme. But the theme is what your content, how your content is styled on your website. So content would be this text, this photo, this opt-in box, and the theme is what styles it. It's what makes the navigation bar have a pink background. It's what makes my opt-in box have this purple background. It's what says, oh, this is a script font, but this is not a script font. That's your theme. It's the outward-facing appearance of your website. All of the content, the pages, your blog posts, where you drop that content, that's all handled from the back end here, which we're going to go over right meow. So I don't ever really sit on this homepage. It'll give you stats. I haven't launched my Wordpress site yet, so no stats to report. If you want to manage your site all in one place, go to updates, because once everything's set up, you're just going to want to keep it up to date. Unless you're using a paid theme that you don't get updates for, because that's actually, you don't want to update your version of WordPress if that is the case. In fact, I've been working on client sites that have broken just because they purchased a theme, but they don't have the updates for that theme. And because of that, updating WordPress without updating the theme can sometimes break. So I highly recommend buying a theme that includes automatic updates. Getting a theme through WordPress by going to Appearance Themes is a good way to do that. But if you use a service like Elegant Themes or Optimize Press, all of that updating is handled right here. So you can just select all, update plugins. Ignore that. Update plugins. And then give it a couple seconds and you have updated plugins, and you can update themes the same way. Next is posts. Posts are blog posts. So when you set up your blog on whichever theme you end up choosing, going here to posts is where you can add new blog posts. Super simple. Let me show you real quick what the visual editor looks like in WordPress, just so that you can get a feel for the back end here. You're not really going to need to worry about the text editor. For anyone who's familiar with HTML and CSS, you can use the text editor to really get into the nitty-gritty. But for now, we're just going to focus on the visual editor here. Depending on what theme you use, heading 1, paragraph, heading 4, they're all going to look different. What's important is separating your content out so that your headlines help your readers to kind of scroll down the page visually, and you're not presented with giant blocks of text. Be sure to space out your content. I can't stress that enough. All of your standard editing tools are up here, stuff that you'd see in Word. If you don't see this bottom row here where you can designate font colors and headings and stuff, just click this toolbar toggle right here. Boom, boom, boom. in the media section, so the media section is good for if you need to add a lot of photos or whatever all at once. But for the most part, you're just going to be adding those photos or design assets right into the text editor itself, so the visual editor. So in the visual editor tab, if you click add media, then you can choose exactly what gets added in there. Cool, awesome graphic, insert into post, and there you go. I'm going to... So forms, I use what's called Gravity Forms, which I highly recommend to all my clients. It's the best form editing tool there is. I'm not going to dive too deep into Gravity Forms, but I do want to show you a little bit of what the back end of the Gravity Form looks like. So to add a Gravity Form to any page, you just use a shortcode, which is just some text in brackets. When you start using Gravity Forms, it'll be obvious exactly how to use that. In fact, if you just go into your browser and search Gravity Forms shortcode, it'll tell you exactly what that should look like, and just copy and paste this into your visual editor, which is what I just showed you, and you're good to go. The only thing that you would change between this and what you actually copy into your website is just the ID number. And the ID number is located right here. So when you create a form, it's given an ID number, and as long as you designate that ID number in your shortcode, then you could just copy and paste this anywhere you need it. So when you go into a questionnaire or a form, it's a very good WYSIWYG interface. So just drag, drop. If you want to change the name, boom, boom, super easy. I'm gonna delete that. To set up your add-ons, so for instance, if you want to use Gravity Forms to receive PayPal payments, if you want to integrate to MailChimp or Aweber, then first of all, once you do install that plugin or the add-on using the add-ons link right here, in order to set that up for each individual form, you would just do that in Form Settings, scroll down to MailChimp, and just add new. And this is what links the fields that you create in that other screen to your MailChimp list itself. So list, design mastermind sign up, and then it automatically populates based on what fields you have set up in MailChimp. So email address mapped to email address, first name mapped to your name, boom, update settings, and you're good to go. Pages is where you're going to create page content. So this is where you're going to add your about page content, your home page content. I use OptimizePress for my website, and I build OptimizePress themes for my clients. If you're just starting out and you're not looking to invest in a designer like me to build your OptimizePress theme, it can come a little ugly right out of the box. I'd like to come back to OptimizePress in a minute, but I'm just going to show you real quick what the live editor for OptimizePress looks like for pages. So this is what it looks like in an OptimizePress page versus the visual editor box that you saw before. So let me see if I can find a non-OptimizePress page to show you. I don't know if I have any, to be honest. Yeah, I don't have any. But it's basically, it looks the same as what you saw in the post section that we just covered with the visual editor page. So instead of being able to see what your page actually looks like in terms of layouts and how your sidebar looks, instead you just have that standard visual editor box. And if you install a pre-built theme, then you're going to use it this in a similar way. I use MemberPress for my membership sites, which is a whole other thing. I'm not going to cover MemberPress today, but suffice to say, it was pretty easy to learn. I'm not very technical. I know HTML and CSS, but obviously none of that was necessary to learn how to use MemberPress. The tutorials that they provide were super helpful, and I honestly think that if you're looking to build your own membership site, MemberPress is the way to go. Appearance is where you're going to handle installing your theme as well as installing your sidebar widgets. So a lot of themes feature sidebars on their blogs, and you can designate whether a sidebar shows on a page-to-page basis by going up here to Pages and selecting your page. Otherwise, if you go to Themes, I'd like to show you, if you click, you can actually browse from this section. If you click Add New, you can find a theme that looks nice here in WordPress. There's some for free, some paid. Some of them are super customizable. Most of them are, I guess, medium customizable, if that makes sense. Meaning you can change the colors, you can add banners, that sort of stuff. But the layouts are pretty much set in stone. But there are some that you can buy from this WordPress Add Themes page. If you buy a theme with Elegant Themes or with Invato Market's Theme Forest, then you can install that right here. You're going to be, when you buy your theme, you're going to download a zip file, and you're just going to upload that zip file directly into here. Just click Choose File, select your zip file. I have a whole folder of plugins and themes, and then click Install Now. Once you install it, you click Activate, and you're good to go. Let me see, do I have that page? Yeah, so once you install it, it's going to look like this. You have the option to live preview or activate. And once you install your new theme, just click Activate and you're set. Widgets and menus are the only other pieces here that you're going to really need to worry about. Widgets is, like I said earlier, where you add your images, where you add your recent posts list, your sidebar opt-ins. That's all added from the widgets page. Depending on your theme, the widgets section can add widgets to any number of areas on your site. So right now, because I use Optimized Press, the sidebar widgets and subfooter sections are the only areas that I can add stuff to. What do I have here? I have a sidebar opt-in. I have a preview for my sidebar opt-in, which is just an image widget, and recent posts list, which came with my theme. You're going to get a lot of widgets that actually come with your theme, so when you install it, you'll be able to kind of see what's available based on the theme that you've chosen. One thing to remember is that the image widget isn't something that comes with WordPress, but you can install the image widget by going right here to Plugins and clicking Add New and searching Image Widget. I'm going to go over plugins in just a minute, but before that I want to just gloss over menus. Menus is where you designate your menus. Pretty straightforward. You can just you can create your new menu right here. Add pages by clicking the checkbox and clicking Add to Menu. Once you have pages brought over here, you can go into each link and say exactly how the navigation appears. So say you named your page New Client Form right here, but you just want to say New Clients. So instead of New Client Form, let's just do that, Add to Menu. And Save Menu. So now on my WordPress website right here, when I refresh, new clients brings me to the new client form. The next thing I want to talk about is plugins. So plugins are what make WordPress such an extendable framework. There are what are called third-party plugins, which are pretty much all the plugins that WordPress does not make, which is like most of them. And you can install a plugin in one of two ways. For plugins like what I was just mentioning, the image widget, you can just search WordPress's library and install one directly from WordPress. So these are all free plugins. Image widget. You search and you see that this is the one I have installed on my website from Modern Tribe Inc. And most of the time you're going to want to install an image widget that is, or any sort of plugin that is checkmark compatible with your version of WordPress. The longer it's been since a plugin has been updated, the greater chance you have of that plugin either breaking your WordPress installation or just not working with your theme / with the new version of WordPress that you have. So just look for compatible. If you purchase a plugin from Envato Market or Creative Market, then you would install that by just going to this button here, Upload Plugin. And again, it would be a zip format, and you can choose your file here, click Install. And when you install your plugin, it's going to be featured in the installed plugins list, which I'm going to go to right now. So here are all the plugins that I have installed on my website. Gravity Forms is a plugin that I purchased from their website, from the Rocket Genius website. And when I purchased it, I downloaded the zip file and installed it, and it showed up right here. It actually showed up as gray, so it looked like Ascomet. When you first install a plugin, it is not automatically activated. So you are going to want to go in and click Activate on your new plugin once you install it. The reason why you see Optimize Press deactivated is because Optimize Press comes as both a plugin and a theme. And I used to have a different theme with my website, and I started building my pages with Optimize Press and eventually moved my entire website over to Optimize Press, which is why it's now a theme right here in Appearance Themes instead of a plugin under Plugins. So you can use Optimize Press in both ways. One thing to keep in mind about Optimize Press is that you can't actually have certain types of themes running with Optimize Press. For instance, any visual composer theme won't work with Optimize Press. A lot of drag and drop theme builders don't work with Optimize Press. However, a lot of standalone out-of-the-box themes do work with Optimize Press. Any theme that you would customize by going to Appearance Customize, which is actually something that we're going to cover in a little bit, any of those themes, you're good to go. Any theme where you edit the page look and feel directly from the page, like Optimize Press, won't work with Optimize Press, which is fine because that's what Optimize Press is for. But if you're trying to take it easy and only use Optimize Press for your landing pages and sales pages, then you can run it as a plugin simultaneously with a more out-of-the-box pre-built theme that you get from Elegant Themes, Creative Market, or Theme Forest. Last thing I want to talk about is settings. The only settings that you're going to need to worry about is general and reading. So in general, you want to make sure that your site title and tagline are up to date and that your email address is something that forwards to your primary Gmail or whatever. This is really important this email address is where any automated emails that WordPress sends out or that a membership plugin like MemberPress sends out, it needs to be a valid, working, super fine email. You're probably going to want to set up an email on your domain, which is something that we're not going to cover today, just because it's good for forwarding purposes. But otherwise, even if you just have a regular Gmail, you're okay, as long as you check it and as long as you use it and it's a valid email. In reading, this is super important because a lot of times your front page is not going to be your blog page. And if you install a pre-built theme and you're struggling to figure out why your blog is showing up on your home page and how to get it on a different page, this is where you would do that in settings, reading. A static page is where your front page will display, and you're going to want to name your front page something that includes your business name and home for SEO purposes. The post page is usually going to be blog, although I've chosen articles as the name of my blog page. So that's it for the WordPress dashboard. The next thing I want to cover is themes, optimized press, and customizing your